And here are the aforementioned Sammy P and Will Hill to kick around the NFC Championship game, which leads us to one of our Super 6 questions of the week presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Obviously, that question is, what will the outcome of the NFC Championship game be? Eagles to win by 6 points or more, or the Commanders to win the game or lose within 6 points, 5 points or fewer. So, Sammy, Will, I guess I'll start with you. Like, you're up here in freezing Connecticut with me, so we have a little bit of a compadreness working with us here. What are your initial thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, I mean, imagine if we're sitting here during the summer, August or whatever, say, hey, it's going to be an all NFC East title game. We said, finally, the Cowboys are back in this game, but obviously not the case, as the Commanders, just an incredible story, some ridiculous numbers in terms of being a long shot to win the Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl. So it's a great story. I have a feeling that Cinderella, the clock strikes midnight here for Cinderella. I just think they've been so aggressive and so efficient on fourth down. I worry if I'm Washington that, one of these times they sit down at the blackjack table and the dealer just has a hot hand and throws a few 20s and 21s at you, and they come up empty. And if that's the case, this could get ugly. And the run defense, our buddy Aaron Schatz from FTN Fantasy, creator of DVOA, has some really concerning stats from Washington's standpoint of like, hey, run defense, 26 in DVOA, open field run defense, second level, all this stuff that makes you think Barkley, once he gets into the open field, and Philly, they do as good a job as anyone blocking, creating space. Can Washington contain him? So, Sammy, I just see a game where maybe similar to that Thursday night game in the middle of the season where it's close, maybe early fourth quarter, it's a one-possession game, and Philly just kind of pulls away late with their defense, with their running game. I think Philly wins the game by 7 to 10 plus points.
Let us start with pouring one out for Dan Campbell. Just like that. Just a little bit of water.
That's what Fon Turner will do for you.
A little bit. Actually, maybe a little bit more water all over the floor.
Sammy couldn't wait for this. He cannot wait to trash Dan Campbell. Cannot wait.
I hope the Eagles win. I do. And that Dan Campbell loss actually helped anybody holding an Eagles future, because now they're a 6-point favorite. Here are the quarterbacks that have played in NFC or AFC title games as rookies: Sean King, Roethlisberger, Flacco, Mark Sanchez, Brock Purdy, who did get hurt in that game. 0-5 straight up. Not the biggest sample size in the world, Bear, but this is the round where the lights get brighter, the stage gets bigger, and your opponents are better. Facing the Lions defense one week and the Eagles defense the next, Geoff, is like going from the JV to the varsity.
Geoff,
you want to gamble? You want to gamble on fourth down? I'm saying, you want to gamble on fourth down? Yeah. Good luck getting through Jalen Carter and company on that Eagles defense. The gambling works until it doesn't, and then you get blown out.
Geoff, it kind of feels like, I alluded to this to a couple people yesterday, about like, it feels a little like, Sammy mentioned Mark Sanchez, it feels a little like 2010 New York Jets to me, where we got to the playoffs, you got to go to the Colts and play Peyton Manning. We'll see what happens, whatever. No expectations, and you win. Oh, okay, we got to play the Patriots now. They just beat us by 1 million on Monday night in New England last month. I'm not going to win that game, whatever. And you win that game. And it's like, oh my God! Now we're one game away from the Super Bowl. In Pittsburgh, we can go to Pittsburgh and win. We just beat the Patriots. We just beat Peyton Manning, and then kind of like the emotional and physical toll of that run. And it's like you just had nothing left in the tank for that game. And it's a divisional opponent too. Does that factor in? Third time now that this Eagles D has seen Jaden Daniels. Like, is that a bonus for Fangio in that D?
Not really, I don't think. I mean, it's hard to prepare for a quarterback that can move like Daniels no matter how many times you've seen him. I think the real issue for them is some of the injuries on the offensive line. I mean, Cosme being out is a big loss. He has played well for them this season. Now you don't have him against Jalen Carter. Not great. The Eagles play a ton of zone. They're going to try to keep everything in front of them. They're going to try to keep Jane Daniels in front of them, which I think they're going to be able to do. You mentioned the running stats. Eagles should run the ball all game, and we talk about Jalen Hurts and how healthy he is, and he might not have to do anything. He doesn't do anything much in the postseason anyways. In the 4 wins, we know he doesn't go for a lot of yards. He just doesn't have to, right? Saquon Barkley is controlling the game. Say something that's important on the fourth down plays for Washington. They're like in the 80 percentile for conversions. Let's say they go 1-5 in this game. what's the final score?
They get blown out.
They get blown out, right? Like it's that quick, right? You don't convert and you come back to the mean a little bit, come back to the middle a little bit. They were 4 for 5, I think, last week against the Lions on fourth down. Mm-hmm. That doesn't include the 12-man on the field penalty. That's now 5 for 6. 5 for 6 on fourth down attempts, right? I mean, one was an attempt, but that's ridiculous. You're not going 5 for 6 again on the road in Philly. So I think this all sort of comes to an end, but I do think this is a Jane Daniels game. Jane Daniels over pass attempts, over passing yards, he has to be the offense. Rush attempts, the numbers are really inflated because he does run the ball a lot, but I think over pass attempts, I think it's at 32.5 right now. It is he's going to throw the ball a lot in this game. He has to throw a lot. He has to throw a lot in this game.
And Geoff alluded to the fourth down conversions. If you go back to that first meeting in Philly on third and fourth down combined, Washington was 4-14. So being, I think, on the road does matter. And you really, what you see them run for 228 in that first meeting. The second meeting, even with Kenny Pickett, a quarterback, they ran for 211. So it feels like even if Hurts is hindered, or if they even, God forbid, have to play Kenny Pickett, feels like it's going to be hard to slow the Eagles offense down.
Yeah, it sure does. And in terms of a prop, A.J. Brown under catches, 4.5 under yards. To me, you just have to watch the games. He is just not healthy. He's limping around between plays. He's not 100%.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.